So it's my birthday, and we're gonna roast myself. So if you have something prepared, that's great. If you don't, you can come up and ad lib. It's gonna be even funnier. You better shut your. I'm the fucking star, not you. Shut your mouth. Hey, shut the fuck up, midget.
Hey, PSA warning.
Oh, yeah. If you've got kids and they're going to get triggered by what you're hearing, we're going to tell midget to shut up. I mean, be forewarned, there's going to be a lot of profanity, more than likely, and innuendos and, whatever. If you have kids and you don't want them to hear some of this stuff, we put them inside. We got Disney, Pixar, all that good stuff. You can stream whatever and then come back out, distract them. Should be fun, especially you, midget. So to kick this off, we thought we'd start off with a little bit of a mild session of roasting. I don't know how gnarly Elizabeth is going to get with her roast of me, but it's not like I haven't given her a lot of, things to talk about over the past, So please give it up for my wife, Elizabeth.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I had to write it out because if I just go off the cuff, we'll be here a couple hours. Okay, how's this? Is this better? Hey. Oh my God, and I'm blind. It's all your fault. Everything. You're right, sometimes. So, God. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here to roast this fantastically crazy and funny and generous and loving man. Wait, this is a roast, right? So, maybe I gotta confess, y'all know he married me for my money and my boobs. True story. Still true. But to be fair, I married him because he can lift all the heavy things. And he takes care of all the vehicles and is willing to drive 12 hours straight to get us to our destination. Even though he gripes about it, we do take some pit stops along the way. Sorry, women don't pee in a bottle. So he had some good shit to bring to the table, too. I don't know, I'm kind of nervous. Do I sound nervous? I think I'm more nervous to what comes after this. Oh, so winging it a bit because, being a wife, a mom, a business owner, creative mind, homemaker, and perimenopausal, I did not have enough time to complete every task that I wanted to this week, sweating my ass off all day long. Ladies, you hear me, Woo. Enough said.
I hear you too, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Whew. I need my old lady fan right now. But this week, this week, there was a lot to do to prepare for the man that told me on the first night we officially met that he is, and I quote, a shameless self-promoter. Yeah. Just ask me. I'm kind of a big deal. Okay, Ron Burgundy. It is, however, my chance right now to complain about Seth in front of all of our friends. And he actually invited us to make fun of him. What a cool experience. What a spotlight for me to have a proper go at it. So, bitches, let me tell you some tea, and I hope I get a laugh or a giggle or two. I'm going to start with the beginning of our love story. Don't worry, it's not going to get too mushy. What does one say to the person, roast the person that came into my life when I was 30 and not looking, seriously, not looking? How do I square that this super pale white dude with tattoos for days and a shaved head who worked in one of the town's best dive bars. Oh, yeah, I said right here, pause for a moment. Can I get a woo-woo for Old McCarthy's 1019? How does this dude land a diva like me? When we met and crossed paths, shout out to my dear friend Perry for making that happen. Little did I know he would upend my life in the way that it all played out. So here's where I get real for a moment. When I met Seth, I was not looking for any kind of relationship. I was single on purpose for over a year, or about a year. I was on a journey to make myself the best I could be without distractions, like, stupid boys and all their bullshit. I had a fantastic day job in San Diego and a thriving side business, now my main business for the last 14 years. Ooh, I did ad-lib that. I had a healthy savings account on top of buying my very first brand new Mini Cooper. We've had, 4 or 5 now? I don't know, I lose count. I love them. For someone who said that he doesn't like cars, he happened to meet someone that had the type of car that he loves. And so I was like, well, good thing, because we're always going to have a Mini Cooper. So yeah, if it sounds like I'm bragging, yes, I am. Because I was, and I still am, a fucking catch. Oh God, I'd cultivated friendships, I worked out every day, around 30 miles a week, no joke. I know it may be hard to imagine that about me now. I have a little bit of extra cushion, but it's okay, I don't mind it. He doesn't mind it. Like Freddie Mercury said, fat bottom girls, you make the world walk. Rock and world go round. Oh, I just can't do it. He really does have a talent for lyrics. I'll say one word, and next thing you know, he's serenading a song to me in the shower. I'm like, how do you do that? Anyway, this dude, boom, comes into my life. The shameless self-promoter came along, kind of swindled me into a first date. Happened to be good at making out. Revealed so many layers. You concur, yeah. I know that he's probably made out with a couple of you out there. Where's Nat when we need him, right? But after a proper amount of time of letting him woo me, well, I finally caved into his charm. Did you know that he blew up 2 motorcycle engines riding to San Diego just to have another date with me? It's funny, but true, that if someone is really into you, they will travel the world to have the slightest chance of another great shag from a wild and crazy redhead. Facts. Here's another maybe not so fun fact. Did you know he was stabbed 2 years before he met me? And it was on my birthday. Yeah, crazy, right? The stab-iversary was June 6th, and June 6th is my birthday. And I know it's kind of weird, but when I learned that, I knew for some strange reason we were meant to be connected. It's weird, I don't know. Was it me? I'll get to that part. So, yeah, we met and we're married within about a year and a half. And I still can't believe I actually moved back to Arroyo Grande for a dude. I'm glad it worked out, but still my advice for all women is don't do that. I guess unless you know it's for real. And at the age that we were of 30 and 31, we knew what we both wanted, and the timing was ideal. The course of our wild 20s with unabashed and definitely some regretful and yet fun times. You will not know any of mine unless I share them, but we're going to hear all about his today. But we were both ready for something more. Okay, I promised I wouldn't get too mushy. That's it. Let's get to the good stuff. How do you find Seth? Like, literally, how do you find him? You just follow his trail of tools or piles of tools. Sometimes several of the same tool, because he couldn't find the first one he pulled out, so that he just went in back and got another one. And sometimes that's like 3 or maybe 4 times. You'll see the same tool 4 times, because he has not only his tool, but then a second set that he buys because he had a Snap-on addiction for a while there. But his dad's tools and his brother's tools and my tools, which, that's drawing the line. Oh my gosh. His level of tool organization gives me so much anxiety, but he loves my boobs, so most of the time I let it go. Okay, this is the part where I'm going to say Seth is such a black thumb, and you all say back to me, how black is his thumb? So let's go. Seth is such a black thumb. Black is his thumb. It's so black that if you say we need a key holder, by noon he's welded one up that weighs at least 18 pounds and needs 6 screws with drywall anchors. And when the day comes you want a different key holder and take it down, the drywall needs to be repaired too. Yeah. Good job. Seth is that also applies to like everything he makes. It's just super heavy and overthought. But Seth is such a black thumb. How black is his thumb? He's such a black thumb that he only acknowledges tires above 30 inches. I mean, what a snob, right? Seth is such a black thumb. How black is his thumb? His thumb is so black that when we were planning to marry and budgeting out our wedding on most of our own dime, I suggested that he weld up centerpiece sculptures out of various junk he had accumulated over the years. He made metal sculptures out of broken wrenches, chains, nuts, bolts, spent cylinder rods, just whatever else fell out of the boxes of all of his crap. And he made at least a dozen of these sculptures to fit around these dollar store vases that I bought. Sounds clever, right? Yeah, totally my idea. He hated them. And I absolutely loved them. And I fell even more in love with him for his creative side, really. We painted them all matte black. And they just looked beautiful. There were red roses in them. And lost my place. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. I thought finally his shit is being cleared out of our garage in the form of art. Having painted them matte black, guests were putting their names on them by the end of our wedding dinner. So is there anyone here who still has one of our wedding vases? Yay! They were absolutely incredible. So Seth is such a black thumb. Am I missing a page? 1, 2. All right, that page is missing, but it doesn't matter because this is the part where I am going to ad lib. His thumb is so literally black. Hold on, it's a good one. He nearly burnt down our house in the neighborhood one day. Only once. Well, that I know of. But the funny thing is, we have friends that are firemen and chiefs at Cal Fire, and it's not unusual for our friends to just stop by the house and say hi. In fact, at one of my kids' birthdays, they came by in the fire truck and were handing out stickers and letting the kids climb around on the fire truck. And I was so upset that our friend George did that because it upended all of my plans, even a bounce house. The kids were not interested in it. They wanted the fire truck. So to see George at our house with the fire truck out front wasn't really a big deal. So I come home one day and I see George, and there's like 2 fire trucks at that point when I got home from a long day of work. And I see him and I'm like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, noticed he's a little sweaty, but I didn't really think anything of it. And I'm like, how are you? And I give him a hug, me. And he's like, good. How are you? And I'm like, oh, it was just like such a long day. It was a hard day at work. And he's all, has Seth talked to you yet today? And I go, no, why? Just bouncy me, right? And he goes, I'll let him tell you. And he's like, okay, I gotta go. All right, bye, George, see you. And I come in the house and I'm like, hey, honey. And then I take one look at him and he's just black soot, head to toe, sweating, limping, and he's like exasperated, and he knows he's got like a lot to say. But all I'm doing is looking out the French doors, and I'm like, what am I looking at? Why does it look so weird? What is weird about this? And I get to the French doors, and at this time, the shop was not there. He had a horse corral that we bought, or that was on the property when we bought it, and that was his shop, was a horse corral. And, Golden, California. And the tiny home wasn't there either. It was nothing. It was just wild down there. And it's all black, the whole thing. Everything you see from our neighbor's driveway to our neighbor's house down to the creek, black, and it's all burned out. And I'm like, all of a sudden it goes, and I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry, I didn't blow some eardrums. What the fuck? What the fuck? Where are the kids? That was my next thing. He goes, okay, it's fine. I texted you. I'm like, you did not. You did not text me. I would have been home a long time right then, I'm like, where are the kids? He's like, no, it's fine. They slept through all of it. Thank God. Toddlers slept through all of it. So what happened was, and this is my side of the story. He could tell you his side another time, but he was grinding away at something, and, he had a bucket of water there in case there was a spark. And there was, and he threw the bucket of water on it, but it created kind of like a well of air or whatever. It made it just inflame even more from like the pressure, if it can happen. Don't try it. So all of a sudden, it gets a little bit too far out of control. But luckily, he's smart enough that he called 911 right away. And the Atascadero State Hospital Fire Department, they're just like 2 miles away. They were the first ones to respond. Then Atascadero Fire, and then Cal Fire. Plus our neighbors, our beautiful neighbors, Steve and Buffy. Everyone just say, woo, Steve and Buffy. And our neighbor, Oscar, he wasn't living there, was a prior tenant, but they're here. Other people that are driving by, they see flames and fire trucks, and they're driving by, and oh my God. And this all happens in like, how much time? 35 minutes. How big is this space? 3/4 of an acre. Just whoosh. And, oh, that was loud. But they managed to contain it because we have a beautiful, community and good first responders and really great neighbors, most of them. And he had a lot of explaining to do after that. And of course, after like having a heart attack and hyperventilating a little bit of the worry, I was really glad that it wasn't me who got the text. It happened to be our friend Alex. Because when you're texting and you just go back to like reply to the conversation you had, well, he thought he was texting me back. So he texted our friend Alex, who's a contractor. We've known him for years. I wish he was here right now. He'd be laughing so hard. And he says, had a fire on the property. I don't know, whatever, short little thing. And Alex, he's such a cool dude. He's such a cool stoner. He's like, all right, cool. So when he said he texted me, I was like, do you fucking think that's what my response would be? All right, cool. Burn, motherfucker. Okay, so I do actually have so much material on Seth, but I love him a lot, and I'm so glad that you didn't die before we met. And I'm so glad just who you are. You're my best friend. You make me laugh. We have so many adventures. It's been a lot of fun, and I just never want it to end. And, oh, I know. Isn't that cute? However, if you ever leave me, I'm going to run you over with the Land Cruiser and plant wildflowers over your bones. And everything will be fucking mine. Happy birthday, Sethzilla. All right, so this was, fly by the pants of our seat Productions, Inc., LLC. Who would like to go next? Yeah. Oh. Somebody parked their car. Does anybody drive a white Toyota? Does anybody have a Land Cruiser? You're blocking the driveway. Okay, I don't know whose phone this is. It's blue. Oh, all right. Melissa, I'll bring it to you. You sit there. So we have some prepared speeches, and then I'm hoping there'll be just some stories. I want to hear all the good dirt that I don't know. But James, would you like to come up? All right. Woo! Everybody, this is James, 6'9" of heart and intelligence and comedic abilities.
We'll see.
We love him. And this is Patrick, the sweetest puppy in the world with the best fur.
Okay.
Yay! Okay, give it up for James. There is a cup holder here.
Thank you. This doesn't get any taller, does it? Yeah. This feels very natural. All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. It's funny. So, okay, roasting tradition. You roast other roasters. And so we've got Elizabeth here. And so Elizabeth is a challenge. Because what do you say about Elizabeth? Like, she's so nice. What a bitch. It's pretty hard to... It's pretty hard to go with something mean to say. But you know what? Elizabeth, you're fantastic. And you're exactly what I expected for when Martha Stewart fucked a leprechaun. All right. Who else we got that's going to roast today? Let me see some hands. Who else is going to roast? I see 1, 2, 3. Mac, I see. All right. Okay, this is all. Check it out. So far, look, all the roasters I'm seeing. I'm not saying y'all look like tweakers, but I am saying that y'all look like people that know exactly how much Sudafed you can buy at a time. You assholes look like exactly what happens when you ask ChatGPT to draw a picture of a stage full of Kid Rock fans. I don't mean to be offensive, but at least half of you idiots probably drive a Honda Ridgeline. Buy a Toyota. You'll be better for it. Look, I do apologize if I sound like elitist scum. I don't care. I have the utmost respect for you people. Down-to-earth folk. Thank you. Down-to-earth folk. People of the land. The common clay of the Central Valley. Morons. Oh, I know. In fact, speaking of, we're here to talk about Sethzilla. We're going to celebrate the 50th birthday of our friend. a man who's been described as the king of unabashed self-promotion in the whole country, if not the world, according to his PR representative himself. On April 18th, 1975, Sethzilla Banana Hammock Howard came into this world. That date was the 200th anniversary of Paul Revere's ride. You would know that if you idiots went to school. Thank you. Someone's opened a book. On this day, John Lennon would play his final performance before he got murdered. Thanks. And of course, on this date, the day you were born, is when the Khmer Rouge began. The genocide of 2 million people. Also, thanks, Seth. Rude. But it's not all good things. I kid. Anyway, so Seth, yeah, what the fuck, man? That's a pretty gnarly omen right there. Like a lot of us all had the same thought when we met Seth. We thought, like, is that Uncle Fester's gay nephew? And that's before you see the prison tats. You're like, holy shit, he looks like a demented kid was given a bunch of cocaine and a tattoo gun. That's what comes out. Well done, you. Like, Seth is a veritable gourmand of rusty shit. I swear, I've never met a man with as much of a mental, emotional, and sexual relationship as tetanus than Mr. Clean with guns over here. You know, Seth, there's people here that know you from many different communities. Motorcycles, military, McCarthy's, OG McCarthy's, Mad Max, and male prostitution. It's the 5 M's. There are more embarrassing and niche communities as well, like scooters. That was not a woo moment, Elizabeth. Jesus. All right, where's my dog? That's concerning. I'll figure that out in a minute. All right. Folks that know you know what a great heart you have. And those that don't can figure it out pretty quick by reading your phone over your shoulder from a mile away. Like, holy shit, brother, you are fucking blind. Like, what font size is that? 1 million? If you've seen his phone, you know what I'm talking about. He's a text from from Elizabeth, and it's just one letter at a time, and he's swiping through. Like, holy shit, it's like Telegram. It's like, no wonder you didn't text her about the whole ass fire you started. Like, it's pretty, I mean, it must take you forever to get through that goddamn keyboard. Look, all seriousness, you're a great guy. But you're an example of a man who is simultaneously a pyromaniac with an explosives kink, but also someone who keeps himself very tightly controlled. You try and set a good example for the boys, and even your felonious acts are done with honesty, integrity, and I respect that. I'm grateful for your friendship, proud to call you family. Happy birthday, you beautiful, bald, Mr. Clean motherfucker. Love you, brother. All right, who's up next?
For anybody who doesn't know, this is Kanan. We used to be roommates and in a band together, and he's a fucking amazing person. He brought the PA system for today. I think he's videotaping it as well. So, you know, gay stuff. Kanan.
Oh. Sit down. All right, well, I've been racking my brain trying to think of some really nasty things to say about Seth. I had a hard time coming up with anything that hasn't already been said to him with that ball gag and the cucumber on his OnlyFans. So, you guys have seen, right? Or am I the only sub? Okay. Take it, bitch. First met Seth at Ruderville. Some of you might be familiar. He was in the Army at the time. It's when I first started to suspect that he preferred the company of men. I used to think he was super gay. Still do, but I used to too. Yeah, I stole that from Mitch. Don't worry, he's not using it. Some of you remember he was in Sethzilla Time Explosion, that flagrantly homosexual boy band. So that's Sexy Time Explosion. Unfortunately for the rest of us, the last part didn't happen. My ears still kind of hurt from hearing him sing. To say he was a singer is kind of a stretch. I'd say he was more of like a lifestyle influencer. He influenced a lot of people to stay home and save their money. What was the genre of that? Like stick it up your butt rock? Or like no hair metal when you joined, I guess? Seth used to be known for those super cool specs, but he stopped wearing them. I would too if I saw that in the mirror every morning. Call him. Talk about a boner killer, am I right, ladies? Sheesh. Seth's so cross-eyed, he makes Steve Buscemi look like George Clooney. Feels kind of wrong saying all these super true things about Seth. But like he always told me, sticks and stones are what I like in my mouth and anus. I once asked Seth what got him into working on engines. He said, well, it was back when I inherited my grandma's kickstart vibrator. And he said he just really liked the smell when he cranked her over, you know? It was like homemade cookies. Said he could hear Nana's voice on the wind whenever he pulled on the throttle, you know? Remember at Rooterville, there was a swing on the rafters in the garage of Jason's room, and there was a prize for whoever would break it while swinging on it. And one of the prizes was, can I say what the prize was? It was a sheet of some hallucinogenic paper material that, anyway, one night during a party, Seth was swinging as high as he could and broke it at full swing and fell about 8 feet onto his head. And just wondering, is that when the retardation started? Was it the acid or the... Okay, fair enough. So back in the day when we were in punk rock bands and stuff, people sometimes used to think Seth was a racist just because he dressed just like him with, you know, the whole outfit and everything. But I know for a fact Seth is not in the Klan. I have heard his dick wears a hood, though. Anyway, that just makes him a little racist. Or like a tiny bit. Like, you know. Just seriously, though. Somehow he managed to procreate. He has 2 great kids. Thankfully, they got their looks from Mom. Hopefully, they get his... well, if I think of something, I'll let you know. Guess I'll get his stuff when he dies after the inevitable, you know. Anyway, who's next?
It's all right. You don't have to introduce me. It's all right. I don't want to make you feel less special at all, Elizabeth, but he likes my boobs too, so let me... Yeah. And James, makes a lot of sense, you know, getting accused of being a meth head. It's called diet and working out, buddy. It's let's give it a shot. Anyways, we're here for Seth. Seth's he's a badass warrior fabricator who makes ridiculous vehicles. And he likes to go out in the desert and pretend for a week that he's a different
badass warrior fabricator who makes ridiculous vehicles. And, it's like me going out for Halloween and slapping an AT&T badge on my already phone guy work outfit and being like, hey, I'm a different phone guy, guys. Leave a little creativity for the rest of us, but the only creativity he's got is I've never seen anybody look so hard and wide to find hard to find parts for vehicles that are supposed to look like you just found the parts laying around. Historically, Seth's birthday parties have been pretty crazy. A mixture of huge fires, explosions, guns, jumping monster trucks, and rock and roll. Pretty sure he just gives a group of 13-year-olds a case of Red Bull and takes notes and says, all right, I'm going to do that. And thank you for inviting me, because I get to brag to my little nephews about the parties, and they don't believe me until I show them pictures. Seth is like if Rambo and Paul Tuttle had a strange bald baby that was raised by the dudes in Nitro Circus. I've tried to imagine him as a kid. His parents come in and he's in his little M16 pajamas. They've got all the lighters and matches locked away. His little pajamas tucked into his combat boots. It's time to sleep now, little Zilla. There'll be plenty of time tomorrow for you to jump your bike made of trash over the pit of fireworks. It's quiet now. Now it's time. His lovely wife Elizabeth is here. I don't know who introduced them, but some crazy fuck had to be like, hey, here's a lovely, creative, kind woman. Let's introduce him to a pyromaniac rock vocalist with a dinosaur name. Let's see how that works out. But apparently it's going all right. And by the way, am I the only one who thought that Seth looked better with his glasses? His eyes were a little bit obscured and kind of hidden behind stuff. We couldn't see what a cross-eyed crazy fuck he looked like behind all that. If I didn't know what a good marksman you were, anytime you had a gun in your hand, I'd be, hey, whoa, let alone a throwing axe. Jesus. Seth's put more lead downrange than a 1950s stove manufacturer. He's breathed in more toxic welding fumes than the housewives that cooked on those lead-lined stoves. Set more things on fire than a rioter in 2020. Broken more vehicles than a snowstorm in Florida. He's consumed more beer than a wasteland porta potty. He's cooked more meat than a Texas steakhouse. He's a man who's never half-assed anything, except for maybe growing hair. Like I'm one to talk, though. So, 50 years of Sethzilla so far, and I'm not sure the world will ever recover. Here's to another 50 years of Sethzilla. Prost!
Anybody else got something prepared they want to go with? Brian? Brian with a Y? Byron? Yeah, I like that. Brian English.
All right, sorry, I had to make an edit because apparently someone else used ChatGPT to write their speech. Just saying. It's a good app. You ought to try it sometime. But no, what's that? Huh? What? But honestly, I really did use it, but I actually added some of my own stuff in there, so I have notes. But anyways, ladies and gents, boys and girls of all ages, we're here to celebrate this man. Sorry, I have a YouTube channel, and I'm very much used to talking and this and that, but normally I'm by myself and in front of the camera. Being behind a mic is not my greatest thing. But anyways, before we get started, just want to say that this roast is being delivered under the assumption that Seth has already put all his guns away and they're locked up. Yeah, I'm just trusting. Because roasting a man who loves the Second Amendment, builds vehicles like he's prepping for the collapse of a civilization, and probably has a chainsaw mounted to his breakfast table, that takes guts, or stupidity, or just a lot of beer. Or both. But here we are. Let's talk about Sethzilla. You don't get a name like that unless you've earned it. You don't just wake up one day and say, hey, I want a cool nickname. No, you earn that name by rolling out of the Nevada desert, or the Mojave, with a 7-ton rat rod covered in skulls, dust, and the tears of lesser men. I mean, let's be honest, it's true. We definitely have seen a lot of them, so. You earn it by grilling meat so perfectly it makes vegans question their life choices. We've all been there. You earn it by doing donuts in the dirt with a beer in one hand and your middle finger in the air. And you know that that's fucking Sethzilla. This man is a monster. And I mean that lovingly. Like, I really do. He's what happens when you cross Mad Max with Ron Swanson and then pour the result into a leather vest and aviator goggles. Or his old glasses. His old glasses will work too. Seth is such a badass that even a Nazi stabbing him in the abdomen couldn't take him down. Let that sink in, seriously. I mean, we're talking about people who almost took out an entire race, but they still couldn't take down this man. You don't kill Seth. You don't even freaking try. You just piss him off and create a future campfire story. It's true. The man took a knife to the gut and probably stood up and said, "Is that all you got, you fascist bitch?" And then he went right back to grilling brats and sipping a beer. I've known this man for over 25 years. And I've gotten emotional scars, a lot of memories, and the emotional scars aren't true. Honestly, him and I have been, I don't know, we've done so many fun things. We've been in and out of our friendship, not in a bad way, just, started families, did our own things, but we always come back together, and it's always a pleasure being with this guy. So I'm just really honored to be here in general, regardless. So, and somehow, sorry, got to go back to my notes here. I'm old like this fucker. All right, there we go. All right, and let me tell you, Sethzilla is a lot of things. He's a veteran, hardcore off-roader, a man who probably keeps ammo in his glove box most of the time, and sausages in his toolbox, or dildos, from what some of you else have said. But he's also a dad, a husband, a protector of those he loves. I know he'll do anything. I know you'll do anything for me, my family, and everyone else here. And you just have a big freaking heart, and we all love you so much. And somehow he's managed to age like a fine German beer. I don't know if that's a good thing, though. I don't know. Not better, necessarily, just stronger, harder to open, and likely to explode if shaken. I mean, isn't that most of us guys, especially in our latter years? Seriously, if he were any more aged, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms would have to classify him as a controlled substance. This is ridiculous. Anyways, you ever meet someone and think, if the world actually ended tomorrow, I want that guy next to me? Which is true. Super true. For those of you especially who are out at Wasteland, it's, even though most of those people probably wouldn't even survive if they was the end of the world, let's be honest. But if it was to end, I would want this freaking guy next to me. So, yep. So, that's Seth. He's got skills, the mindset, the gear, and most importantly, he's got the smoker and the grill, and he buys his own kegs. I don't drink, but I'm just saying for the rest of you, that's a good thing. But let's be honest, it's not the apocalypse unless you got smoked ribs and cold beer. Or, in my case, sparkling water, because I don't drink, so. And speaking of barbecue, I've seen people cry biting into Seth's brisket. And you're still doing the brisket, right? Okay, we haven't done that for a while, so. Because I know I did. It was delicious. Not because it was spicy, but because it awakened memories of their childhood they didn't know they had. He doesn't just grill, he resurrects flavor like a wizard of meat. Which is great. I grew up Santa Maria style barbecuing, and literally this guy, yeah, he knows what's up. Somewhere in the multiverse, a Michelin chef is crying in his sleep and he doesn't know why. But it's because Seth just turned a rack of ribs into a religious experience. Come on, the guy can cook. All right, now we have to talk about Black Thumb. We're going to. Our tribe. Our twisted, grease-stained, dust-covered family of chaos. And every year, this guy, this mountain of metal and muscle, or fat, I'm much to talk, he leads us into the fray. He doesn't do it for glory. He doesn't do it for fame. He does it because of just who he is. Seth doesn't just live in the world tries to live around him, which I truly believe we've all been magnetized to you for some reason, and it's a just fact. So every time we pull into Wasteland, covered in filth, dragging 3 trailers full of parts, or just one trailer, my trailer, your trailer, whatever the case may be. Lost my place again. Sorry. Every time we go to Wasteland, trailer full of parts, questionable decisions, we do it knowing that he'll be there, and that's one of our biggest highlights. Honestly, is when we get to Wasteland, we love seeing this guy right off the bat. So we like to just crack open the drink, hang out, have a good time. So today, we're here to roast this guy, the myth, the desert-dwelling legend. But let's not forget, underneath all the rust and fury, behind the blood, behind the beer, is someone who stood by us through everything. He's been a brother, a friend, a warrior, and most importantly, a survivor. So here's to you, buddy. Happy birthday, you crazy bastard. May your tires never go flat, your brisket never burn, and your enemies continue to underestimate you at their own fucking peril. Cheers to 25 years of chaos, buddy. Love you.
Meat wizard, cock wizard. I mean, what's the difference? Oh, hey, he's the cock wizard. Steve? All right. Anybody know this guy?
What's up, Shorty? Oh,
What?
hey, come here. Stand here. Wow. Somebody remembers Loca Ranchero. What? That's crazy. I'm Steve. Steve Miller.
That's all we got. You can hold it. Whoa.
I'm doing a Seth thing right here. Hey, so the first 2 guys, James and Kanan, he and I have a history, but we get along now. Oh my God, those roasts were like YouTube fucking holy shit. Oh my God, you guys killed it. I can't even begin to get anywhere near the amazingness of what those two guys did. But you know, this guy right here, Seth, I've known him for I've known him for what, 20, 30 years? 30 years?
Yeah.
30 years. 30 fucking years I've known this guy. And he's always been bald, and I've always been good looking. It's so funny because now I live on Buchan, where I think he first was living when I met him, and he built this UFO, and it was stuck in the ground. We were talking about it earlier, and him and Jason Maine and Forrest Williams, and who else lived in that apartment?
Jason's girlfriend.
Jason's girlfriend at the time, and it was a UFO, and it was stuck in the ground, and it was amazing. And you know, he was a bouncer at McCarthy's, the original one, and I used to go there all the time, and he never kicked me out because I was good, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, friends with benefits. Friends with benefits. Woo, yeah. A little higher. You know, it's supposed to be a roast, but you know, I'm looking out at this crowd of people. Come on up here, John. Yeah. I got to get that microscope out to see that little peepee there. Anyway, this fucking guy, you know, how many of you in this group are below the age of 40? Three.
4, maybe 4. You're underage. Shut up, John.
Fucking Harris. Harriest. You know, as we grow in our age, you know, it's an amazing thing how we become more aware of how important people are to us. And this guy and his wife, Elizabeth, where are you? Elizabeth, come here. Elizabeth, come here. I would like.
Just make it a drink.
Bring me a drink too. Yeah. These two people, they are so fucking amazing. Aww. You know, they allowed me to photograph their wedding, and they allowed me to do so many things with.
Whoa there.
No. With the photography of their wedding and such.
Show's over.
You know, and
It's the hair, really. It's the hair.
yeah, it's the hair.
Shut your mouth.
These two amazing fucking people. I mean, seriously, they. I would love to have been able to roast them like James and my buddy Kanan. Kanan and I, we had a thing back when.
Wow, Steve, you get around.
Yeah. No. It you know, we do not come across people like Seth and Elizabeth often in our life.
Oh, wow. Don't make me cry.
You know what I mean. You all know. And they such fucking awesome goddamn people. You know, and they bring together this group of people now, and we are so diverse. And we all get along, and we are so diverse, and that's the power of people.
Keep going. Keep
We need to get stabbed back there.
No, that's noise.
Yeah. And none of that white power talk. Because I will put this in your fucking gut.
Time for the bris?
Party started, Lacey.
Anyway, you do not come across people that are as amazing as Elizabeth and Seth. And you know, it is the combination of the two of them that makes it even more powerful. And you know what I mean. You know, you'll see this guy, this fucking hairy guy up here saying this shit, and you know what I fucking mean.
Can I add something really quick? A lot of you know OD, Mike O'Donnell. Of course. He had the greatest compliment for me right before our wedding. He said, because they were living together when Seth and I met, and we're not living together that long because right before he was living in a garage on a cot. Thank God I didn't meet him at that time because that wouldn't have gone anywhere. But Odie said to me, he said, you just kind of polish off his rough edges. And I was like, that is so beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, so we as a group of people are so fucking goddamn lucky to know these two people. They are so important to our mindset, our life, our living. You know, I've been able to call this guy at 2:00 in the fucking morning, and he'll affirm working out of the plant, you know, when I'm having a problem, and he will fucking answer. He's the only motherfucking person in the world that ever has done that. And you know, you hear it again and again. It's like, oh yeah, call me. Yeah, I got a problem. But this motherfucker right here, he fucking does it. That's how important he is, you know, and all of us are so fucking different, but we all can depend on this guy right here, you know. He is a man of men.
Gay men. Thanks, brother. That's fucking beautiful, man. I love you, man. Hey, nice knife, brother. Good luck following that, sons of bitches. Uh-oh, Eric's walking up here. Yeah? Oh, shit. Here we go. For anybody who doesn't know, I built this podium, and there's a convenient place to put your drink. It's 6x9. You can put it damn near anywhere, and it won't fall off. It's a fucking podium, Steve.
should have brought a leader out. So I was real fortunate. I got to meet Elizabeth in high school way back. Yes. And then when I first met this guy, he was riding a Yamaha. I'm from his scooter nerd friend group. Yes. And so he starts showing up to scooter rides on a Yamaha Riva 180, the nerdiest scooter you can have, except that he chopped it and put a motorcycle tank on it and Mad Maxed it out. And we were like, okay, I guess yeah, totally. Like everybody else has, vintage Italian Vespa, and we're all ooh. And then yeah. And then I'm like, man, this guy, he rides like he wrecks a lot. And then he actually does start riding a vintage Italian scooter, but half of the body has been replaced with, I think, part of a Santa Maria barbecue. And road signs, yes. But yes, so yeah, he was definitely all gas, no brakes. Yes, and I kind of, you guys are so way cooler, but there's sort of a little bit of a like Sandra Bullock, Jesse James energy, and your connection. Exactly. Yeah. No, you guys are way cooler. But yeah, it wasn't the normal connection that I would expect, but it makes for the most awesome energy. And to see you guys both just on bikes and loving life is really rad. And I love that I've gotten to ride tons with Seth, and hopefully I'll get to ride tons too with you now that you're riding all the time.
Absolutely.
Push start.
Push start. Anybody else got something ready? Rivers. No, just kidding. Slauson, I'd invite you up here, but you're probably just going to say I have AIDS, so that's not a big deal. Oh, shit. I was just calling you out. I was being funny. Even better.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, look, there's a spot.
Oh my god, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Dennis. I haven't known Seth for as long as most of you here. I've known him for 8 to 10 years now. Just to kind of reiterate what everybody else has said, this is the guy that you can rely on and call on anytime you need him. I do remember the very first time that I met him. Was when I was a brand new supervisor, and the first joke he ever told me was, "What has 9 arms and sucks?" And he said, "Def Leppard." And and so Seth, happy birthday! I freaking love you, brother. You've always been there for me. I freaking love you, and thank you. Thank you. That's all I got.
I didn't know who was going to be saying stuff today, so I didn't actually prepare any counterpoints and counter roasts. So I don't got much to roast everybody else back on, but I just want to say thanks to Elizabeth for putting this whole thing together and like this amazing backdrop where we get to act like I'm a big shot or something. Well, you son of a. Oh, I know how it's supposed to go, but I don't have that in me. I break the rules. I don't follow rules. So I want to say this is an open mic. If you want to come up here and tell a story, roast me, come throw your middle finger at everybody. It'd be fucking hilarious to hear what you got to say. I've got the thickest skin in the book, so fucking bring it, faggot.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Colton. I'm a local physician who has hung out with Seth on a couple of occasions. I know nothing about him, but I showed up tonight, and I'm going home. No, seriously. Not yet. There's always that opportunity, but I've been on a couple of runs with Seth, and what other people have said about him is absolutely true. You can rely on him. He's a good leader. You know, used to be surf and turf, and then it turned to turf and surf when he took over. That fucked things up. But we all came anyway. I didn't mean it that way. Shit. It's all going wrong. God. No, seriously. I don't know. This is the first time I've been to his house. And it's exactly as I expected. I walked down the hill and damn near killed myself. I think I'm the oldest person here. Welcome home, son. Anyway, no, seriously, he's been a good leader for many different trips we've been on. Turf and surf is one I know him best by. I just remember trying to pull 2 tons worth of firewood into camp at Pismo Dunes, and he and some of his friends managed to pull us up because we got stuck. We got stuck bad, and that was when I first really kind of met him. Almost ran over his tent, and that's when I got to know that he was serious. But because I didn't know him and I was coming to this event, I called a friend of mine because I had seen some YouTubes of him. And I've got a friend who's an editor at YouTube up in San Francisco, and she's been a friend for a long time. I'm not going to tell you her name because it's private. She asked me what I was doing Saturday, and I said, well, I'm going to Seth's house. And she said, Seth? That sounds like an odd name. I said, well, yeah, he's the only Seth I know. And what's his last name? I said, Seth Howard. She said, oh, God, don't go. And this is I'm like, what the heck? Seth Howard, how do you know Seth Howard? She says, oh, we get stuff from him all the time, and we can't put it on. We can't put it on YouTube. I'm like, but, I mean, he's got like a security clearance. He works at, never mind. He's got a security clearance. Why would he not be on YouTube? So she says, I'm going to send you one. So I went on my computer, and here comes this YouTube video that was not allowed to be seen by the public. And it's just a bunch of guys hanging around a fire, and they're roasting weenies. They're roasting weenies, and I'm thinking, what's wrong with this? And then I realized there's one guy with his face kind of turned away from the camera, and he's got these glasses on. I said, oh, God, yeah, that's Seth. That's Seth, you know? I said, well, what's wrong with this video? And she said, look closely at the fire. I noticed the fire is like glowing. I said, yeah, that's a weird fire. She said, yeah, that's spent nuclear waste. I'm like, no, that can't be. She says, where does he work? I said, never mind. And then I looked closer at the fire. I said, wait a minute. You're wrong. I've seen that fire before. that's compound 4 burning. That's C4. That's a military explosive. She said, well, that's, I know, that's an old, yeah, now they use a lot better stuff. So I said, that's compound 4. She said, that's still very illegal. I said, well, I'm sure it was outdated. It was expired. We had to use it up somehow. So at that point, well, next time I tried to upload to YouTube, it didn't work. So you are affecting people you don't even know, Seth. God bless you. 50 more years of trouble, my brother. Thank you. Take care. Is this thing on? Oh, okay. Okay, good. What do you got? It's like a penis, only smaller. FNG, get up here. I'm sure you got a story or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't have much ridiculousness, but I'll fill in a story from the dunes, since we were just talking about the dunes. So I started working with Seth probably in 02, 03 at McCarthy's, you know. What? Yeah, don't start. So yeah, you know, you guys already know this. He likes to throw birthday parties. So we would do bonfire parties, really, really large bonfire parties. So one year,
How large were they?
not that big. Anyways. So I came up with this brilliant idea that we're going to take 55-gallon drums and we're going to build something like that. Okay? And we had 2 truckloads, literally, of firewood, bed all the way up. Well, I don't know what that is in cords, but we did that when this was on the beach, not when we were actually partying in the dunes. So we had that thing full of wood, and we filled it up, surrounded with wood. And before we learned about flamethrowers and, you know, accelerants, and I missed the C4 part, or maybe I was sleeping, I don't know. So somebody decided to take a bunch of gasoline, you know, pour it around, and then pour it down the top. And now, thanks to TikTok, we are all educated about bonfires. So what happens next? You know, gasoline, lights, goes like this. Boom! Blew that top right off. We all go back. It was probably like, I don't know, good 20-foot flame. I mean, it was decent. It was, you know, missing some eyebrows. But that shit was the best. Also at that time, we had a very good friend that would take care of the beach for us and also bring me fireworks. Yeah. So I just remember lighting fireworks off. Well, that's a separate birthday party till like 3 a.m. But anyways, long story long. We almost blew each other up. Best time actually hanging out with your brother. Threw a piece of plywood on top of the bonfire, drinking and doing a bunch of things. So.
What things, F&G?
Oh, gay things, of course. God damn. Drinking Jameson, pretty much, and just burning shit and lighting fireworks and off-road trucks. Yeah. Anyways, this guy has taught me a lot about mechanics and off-road and the dunes and life in general. And all you guys brought us all together in this different groups. If you like see all the little microcosms, but look at all of us, and here we are to celebrate us, this guy, life. Yeah, there you go. Oi, oi! Can't believe we're 50. That sucks. That means I'm next. I don't want to be 50. No, I'm next.
Who's chomping at the bit? Who's got something in the chamber? Brian, you got a story you want to share? This is stupid. Okay. Mark? Oh, Steph? Come on up, Stephanie.
I'm just going to take it down. I've known Seth for a ridiculously long amount of time. I am like super way older than him. Well, like a year. Like a year. Super way older. But I met Seth when he was dating a different person. And she was also awesome, but he always had the ability to do bikes. Like, you did the bike cruise when the bike cruise came through, and you guys did these bikes that were just fucking amazing. They had like lights on them and like special things, and you had costumes. And I knew you through Mardi Gras, and I have pictures of you through Mardi Gras with your big hat. And like, you're always a showman. You just always like really love to dress up and yeah. It was great. No, I loved it. I loved it. I don't have anything shitty. I honestly don't have anything stupid to say. I just want to say like props to him because I've known him for so long, and like as friends we've had like quite a few passings lately, and I would like to acknowledge you while you're still fucking alive. You know what? I would like to say how much I have always respected you. I remember my friend had a Vespa, and I had a Vespa in my backyard. That my friend's like, "Hey, can I just leave this in your backyard in Santa Barbara for a while?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And it was there for like a year, and I was like, "What the fuck is this Vespa still doing in my backyard?" And I go, "Hey, Seth, I go, "Hey, nobody's like calling me about it. It's free." So he came down with his truck, put it in his truck. We went to Red Rocks that day, went swimming, like had an awesome time. He like fixed the whole shit up in like a month. My friend Adam goes, "Hey, what happened to my cruiser? What happened to my Vespa?" And so I was like, "I just fixed it up." He's like, "Well, I want it back." And I'm like, "Go fuck yourself." I was like so mad, but like I'm like, you guys have to talk to him about it. But I felt bad because like they didn't want it when it was bad, and after we fixed it up, they wanted it. But he made the time to do it, and we like had so much fun together. And I've been to not every, but most of your dune parties. I took pictures on the dunes with everybody, with Dee Dee, with her freaking like this. If you know that picture, she's like this. It's in your studio. I took the pictures of you and Clem and Colin and you guys are always my saviors for when I went to photography school, because like I'm like, "Hey, I need to come and take pictures of people," and you were like, "Fuck yeah, I'll do it. Okay, whatever." And I just took pictures of you, and you just like always appreciate it. And I have tons of pictures, and I stopped taking them, but I love you very much. Thank you for being my friend, and I love Elizabeth. I love Elizabeth. Thank you for putting up with his weird shit. It's weird, but I love you. So, I love you so much. I love you, honey. I just love you so much. I don't want to tell you when you're dead.
Right? In a room, you two. Thank you. I'm getting verklempt. Jar what you eat. I mean, it's true. Anybody want to say a little story, a little something? Come on up. If not, we've got a cordless mic we can pass around so that we can still hear everything that's happening. And oh yeah, there's that part. Damn it, fucking Rebecca, son of a bitch. That would, yeah. Well, I didn't prepare anything. That's the problem. I know. I want to thank everybody who came up to say some insults. James. That was some Class A good stuff there. And then to follow that up with Kanan's just fucking brutal roast. My mouth was not nonstop smiling the entire time. It was fucking awesome. Faggot. Thanks for knowing. Elizabeth started off with some nice things to say about me and trying to roast me, but not being able to. That was really funny. I think everybody's like, I thought it was a roast. What is this lovey-dovey crap? You got a few. Mac, your shit was on point, dude. I appreciate that. That was fucking awesome. It was good shit you were talking about. John, thanks for sharing the story. Don't tell anybody it's not true, you son of a bitch. I really didn't write a counter roast to everybody because I didn't know who was going to be saying anything, so I didn't have anything to really go off of. And I wasn't taking notes because I was laughing too hard because thank you. That was awesome. But again, like I said, if you got a story to tell, like, it's funny and everybody's going to enjoy it hearing it because we're just going to be hanging out drinking. And if you're camping out with us, you're going to be here all night and we're going to get warm with the bonfires. Kanan, if you leave your van there, I'm going to set it on fire. True story. Steve, I will not spoon you. But I'll put you in there with the front dogs. You can have the dogs and they'll spoon you. I think you like hairy things, right? So, again, if you got something funny to say, you got a story that people should hear because it's ridiculous. I'm sure Belle's got some funny shit from back in the day. Feel free to come up. This mic is on. Just introduce yourself and start going, and everybody will kind of listen in because we have a captive audience. Thanks for coming to my roast. I appreciate it. I love you all.